Welcome to Authors Alcove. This is Agnes Wolfe. I have LC Conn, author of the One True Child series, among others, as well as her newest fantasy, Realm of Dragons, Fight for the Crown. Welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
I am relatively new to being an author, but I have been writing since I was about 8 years old. I'm originally from New Zealand and moved to Australia in 2008 with my family. I'm a mother of two, and I have a massive imagination.
And we both have a love for dragons, it looks like.
Yes, very much so. I just love dragons.
So what was your inspiration to become a writer?
Well, I've always written. And then 2015, after I finished my treatment for breast cancer, I began to write full time, and that's where the One True Child series came from. It started off very slowly, and I let a friend read it, and that friend kept on saying, well, what's next? The story's not finished. And because of her, she prodded me on to write the rest of the series. There are 7 books in the series. The originally first book was actually what is now known as book 3. It wasn't until I'd finished what I thought was the series that I thought, well, I haven't really explained who these guardians and sentinels are. I haven't explained where these special abilities come from. So I wrote the first 2 books, what became the first 2 books. And there's also a free novella as well.
Cool. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. So, your most recent book, Realm of Dragons, Fight for the Crown, when was that published?
That was published in 2001, April 2001. It took me about 2 years to write. And it was my first one that I actually sat down deliberately to write. The rest are all based on dreams. I have very vivid dreams, and I wanted to see whether I could actually write from my own imagination as a starting point.
That's so neat that that a lot of yours came from dreams. That is just really cool. So what was the inspiration behind Realm of the Dragon, since it wasn't from your dreams?
Started off false starts 6 or 7 times, trying to figure out where I wanted to take the story, and the story developed as I wrote it. As I introduced new characters, that their backstories came to me, and I just wanted to have a look at their characters and develop them fully. And I think I've done that. I hope I've done that. The villains didn't stay villains for long. I'm not going to try and give away much. I found redeeming features in a lot of what I thought were going to be the villains, but I found redeeming features, and their story became a bit more prominent, so to speak.
It seems like, that's real life too, though, is that nobody's really truly fully a villain, and nobody's truly fully a hero.
Exactly.
You consider yourself an indie writer, but you actually went through a publisher. Do you mind sharing that process with me?
Yeah, I first started off self-publishing, and then I came across the publisher who picked me up, which is Between the Lines, and now I'm through their branch, Liminal Books. They consider themselves an indie publisher. They're not a traditional publisher. It's been amazing working with them. Just their editors that they've paired me with have been brilliant and have understood the work. But it was actually a friend who introduced me to them to start with, because he got picked up. It was quite surprising, I should say, that I got picked up, because I tried various publishers here in Australia and in New Zealand, and I got rejected every time, just like a lot of other authors.
The publisher was Liminal Books. How did you find them?
As I said, a friend of mine introduced it. He was signed by them. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he became a very good friend through writers' Facebook pages. He looked at my work and I looked at his work, and then he suggested that I submit to Between the Lines. I was very surprised when I got a positive feedback and a yes, we want to sign you.
What did they help you with, being an indie publisher?
as editors do, they look at the books and they go, well, this doesn't quite work, or maybe phrase it this way, and I've worked with them very in depth to get the books to where they are. There's been a few hiccups along the way, but we've sorted that out and straightened the work out. And I'm very, very proud of the work that's come out through them.
That's awesome. So they actually helped you with some of the editing as well, it sounds like, not just the publishing aspect.
Yes, they paired me up with some brilliant editors, especially for Realm of Dragons. The editor that I had there she got my work. She was very interested in dragons as well. And so that helps when you've got a rapport with somebody who understands the love of dragons or the love of the work to start with. So I was very, very lucky. I've been very lucky.
Did they help you with any of the marketing?
Some marketing, do the marketing myself, just pushing on Facebook and the likes of X and Instagram, TikTok as well. I'm on TikTok. I can't believe it myself. 52 years old and I'm on TikTok. So it's any sort of avenue that I can find to push the books. I try and push the books as much as possible.
Awesome. I actually started reading it just yesterday, and it is very good. I got to find out already the significance of the cover, and so that's in the first chapter, I believe. But I'm already hooked on it. I'm a dragon lover as well. Would you consider yourself a plotter or a pantser?
With Realm of Dragons, I was definitely a pantser. With the One True Child series, I was more of a plotter. But in saying that, when I was in the flow of writing, there would come to points where I would be surprised at what ended up on the page myself. And I knew where I wanted to go, but getting there was a complete journey on its own. So yeah, I definitely class myself as a pantser.
Okay. I would say I'm somewhere in between as well, but I'm probably a little bit more towards the plotter side, because I definitely have an outline, but there's sometimes you are surprised. You like writing and then it just comes out and you're like, this is actually important, to share.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about your writing process as a pantser?
Well, basically, at the moment, going to a cafe with a notebook and pen, and sitting myself down with coffee or tea and writing for about an hour at a time, and just trying to get a flow of story, and that's about it. I do write at home occasionally. I've just started a new job, so that's going to be mainly where I write, I think. So we'll see what happens. But there is a sequel to Realm of Dragons, Fight for the Crown.
That was actually one of my next questions. Is this going to be a series? So is it just going to be the two, or is there going to be more?
I have plans for a third. While I was writing the second one, the idea for the third came about. The second one is set 18 years after the end of the first one, and there's some characters that are from the first one have made it into the second one, including their offspring. And so the third one is going to deal with the adventures of their offspring, but it's a completely new main character for the second one.
In a little bit that I've already read, I see that family seems to be a significant part of a significant theme in your book. Is that correct?
Very much. And it's the same in One True Child series. Families are very important to me. My family is very important to me, not just my husband and children, but all my extended family on both sides, on his side as well as mine. So yeah, I suppose that does play into it quite a bit, is the sense of belonging and the sense of being in a family and the support you get from a family.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people believe that even fiction is somewhat autobiographical, and I think you can kind of sense that you do value family. Just in the 3 chapters I've read so far, I'm hooked. I am definitely going to finish it.
Oh, great.
You mentioned that some other themes you cover in this book include truth, loyalty, justice, and love. What led you to include those particular themes?
In day-to-day life, they're important as well. I believe in living my life as truthfully as I can. I believe in justice. I believe in being loyal to friends and loyal to those around me. Yeah, that's a big one for me, is loyalty and trusting those that are around me implicitly. Yeah, so I think that's why they make their way into the stories as well.
You could sum up the plot without giving away any spoilers. How would you sum up the plot for A Realm of Dragons?
This is always a hard one for an author to answer when they have to talk about their own work. The plot is basically the Realm of Dragons, which is a country in itself in the world, is in danger from a neighbouring country. There are plots and there are conspiracies and there are misdirections, but basically it's the dragons must save the realm and they must overcome it. Otherwise, not only will their country fail and fall, but the whole dragon world will fall. The dragons would be no more.
And I know at the very beginning, there's already somebody that ends up getting banished a little bit from I don't feel like that's a spoiler because that's in the first chapter.
Yes, that's fine.
What would you like your readers to walk away after they read your book?
They walk away entertained for a start, because that's what I like to be when I'm reading a book. I'd like them to think a bit about possibly their relationships and how they work together. But they're mainly to be entertained and to find enjoyment in a mythical world that is in their heads rather than in the world around them. I'd like them to feel like they've escaped for a while from whatever is in their life that they want to escape from. That's what I do when I read, is I like to immerse myself into the book, into the characters, and see myself in that world. I hope that that's what a reader will take from my books as well.
I know that you had mentioned that your dreams played a big part of world building in your other books. What was your process of building this world, since you didn't have it starting from a dream?
Well, the process was basically as I wrote it. There were bits and pieces in the world of the Realm of Dragons that I wanted it to be different from our world. So, for example, there's 2 moons. I wanted it to feel different, but I also haven't really gone into the process of explaining or gone into big, long paragraphs of what the scenery looks like, because I want the reader to use their own imagination to immerse themselves. So I've given some descriptions, but I'm hoping that they will see it for themselves. I know some people can't see the imagery that I'm trying to invoke, that there's some people who don't have that ability. But I'm hoping that it's enough for them to immerse themselves in the world.
I am very curious, because I did not catch yet that there's 2 moons. Is there a significance behind the fact that there's 2 moons?
No, I just wanted it to feel different from Earth. In The One True Child, it's set on Earth. So it starts off historically, but it becomes more modern later on in the series. And so there wasn't much world building there to do, because we live in the world that it's set in. So this time round, it was a bit more of an exercise in seeing what I could produce. And I've had some comments about the fact that I haven't gone into such great detail that it's taken away from the story, and the reader can just keep flowing with the story without having all these massive scenery, descriptions interlaced in the story.
I prefer to have my own envisions and stuff, just because that way I can, you kind of can imagine it more if you are able to create it in your own mind. I want to thank you so much for answering so many questions already. But the last question I would like to ask is, what is a piece of advice you would give to a not yet published author?
Keep writing. Just keep writing. Your first draft is just that. It's just you getting your ideas onto the page And it may not seem like it's very good to start. It's because you haven't even started to polish it. So just keep going over and over and keep writing, keep the ideas flowing. One thing I do find that helps me is once I've written the first draft, I put it away for about a month, and then I come back to it, and it's almost like I'm looking at it with fresh eyes. The way I write at the moment with a notebook, I then go in and I type up what I've written in the notebooks, and it's almost like I'm using fresh eyes again, and the temptation is there to fiddle with it while I'm typing. But I try and get my original ideas first onto the computer, and then I'm going to go back. I've got all these notes as well to say fix this or do this, or an idea's popped up. But my initial advice is just keep writing. The more you write, the better you will become. Also, the more you read, the better you become, because you absorb from other writers. Don't be afraid to go into the classics. Don't be afraid to go into any genre, to be quite honest, because I read all different types of genres, and I've found that especially the action genres that I read have helped when I'm doing the war scenes and that kind of thing. It brings everything is like a melting pot, and it all comes together at one point. So yeah, keep writing, keep reading, and keep practicing, and that's the best advice anybody could give.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I am not yet a published writer as well, or either. So that's good advice for me. My story does have to deal with dragons.
Oh, good. Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Well, when does I forgot to ask. So when do you think that the next book in the series will come out?
As I said, it's still in the first draft stage. I'm busy typing it up at the moment. I'm hoping to go through it another 2-3 times before I even send it to the publisher for them to have a look at. So we'll see. It could be another year, could be 2 years. I don't know yet. So I'm hoping it's not going to be 2 years. I'm hoping it'll be a year's time, but we'll see.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for being part of Authors Alcove. I really appreciate talking with you, Lorraine. And I am excited to read this. And I'm probably, as soon as I put this one down, I'll probably check out your other ones as well, because this is definitely my
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you again so much. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Authors Alcove. We will be back next week on Wednesday, where we will have a writer share yet another piece of work. Also, every other Tuesday, we do learn from experts such as editors, marketing execs, book cover artists, illustrators, and more. If you are interested in being a guest on our show, feel free to go to authorsalcove.com, go to the podcast tab, and then click on Be a Guest. If you're looking for a healed heart, hop on over to our sister podcast, Strength, Love, and Healing with Authors Alcove. You can find that on Spotify and the Apple Podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a great day.